Fulham won, Man United won, and it looks like we're having the same season all over again. It's already game week 2, and unfortunately, Amorim is already out of his depth. Yes, a football manager is out of his depth on just the second game week of the season. That's true. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds unbelievable. Unfortunately, that's the reality that we're dealing with. Amorim is already out of his depth, and it's only game week 2. Now, this is not going to be an Amorim in, Amorim out stream. It's Amorim, whatever you want to decide. I just think this manager got exposed. And yes, it might sound like it's reactionary. It might sound like it's too early, but in fact, when you actually think about it, it's not. The manager's been here for how many months now? 9 months, including a preseason, few signings. And anyone who understands football or can view football from an intelligent lens, at least, would be able to see that this manager is kind of struggling in so many areas on the pitch and not just individual quality. And I'm obviously going to speak about the game a little bit more in detail, but it's just a sad reality that we're at. I made this prediction or in the with these a little bit excited. Yeah, I'm trying stuff that but I prediction that it's just a matter of where we finish in mid-table. I said United is probably 8th or 7th at best, and fortunately, sometimes before we get into the game, let's get the whole scope of things. He signed a line and relying on her in the last to just try to win this game. To ladies and gentlemen, in the Premier League scored one goal, and it's an own goal that would have been a Lenny Euro, aka a centre back goal. We have failed to create clear-cut chances for 2 games in the majority of the time for Mbumo, Cunha, and Sesko. Now, I know we can look at the first 10 minutes of the game where United started well. Cunha hit the post. Then there was the long ball that was played by Bayender, and it was a great save by Bert Leno. But other than that, I don't think anyone hand on heart can look at this and say that United created abundance of chances. United coached a good game. And it's just looking embarrassing for Amorim. It really is looking embarrassing for Amorim. The coaching is just horrible. It's just really horrible. United struggled to keep the ball at times. United struggled to string passes into the final third. And there's so much that needs to be highlighted. But the main thing that I had to highlight and to start with the manager, a whole front line, I don't think people are deeping the statement. A whole new front line. I don't even know how much combined. 60 plus for Cunha, 60 plus for Mbumo, and 60 plus for Sesko. That's between 120 to 140 million pounds spent on a whole brand new front line. And we have only one own goal scored in 2 games. And just no wins and relying on Harry Maguire last minute header to win us the game. It's just generally embarrassing. But let's get into the game in details. Bayender obviously started in goal. Let's not blame anyone for how Bayender is. He's just not a good goalkeeper. He made a couple good saves in the beginning of the half. But I'll be honest, every set piece, and especially in that first half, felt like a penalty. Every set piece, every corner felt like we're going to concede. Struggling to come off this line and punch it. Defenders, I don't know the positioning. I don't know what the set piece coach is doing, but we are struggling to defend corners. We got lucky that one header from Bassi was blocked by Dorgo. Other than that, that's honestly 1-0 right there. But in terms of penalties, we were just struggling. And let's talk about our build-up. Oh my days. Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. There's no, forget me, United fans. I know you guys are looking at this and you know I can't go into the whole season watching this midfield. It's just so tiring to watch this midfield. They're so bad. Casemiro, I think he had a decent game against Arsenal, but that's all he's good for, in my opinion, at this age. Certain games where we're going to require more depth into the midfield, playing more compact, and someone who can hit a long ball and ping a long ball on the counter. That's all he's good for. Today, when we asked him to play a little bit more football, he just ran out of ideas. Too many times in the first half, he tried to lump the ball forward. Marco Silva, with the easiest counter in the world, all he does is, you know what, if you want to play a long ball, I'm just going to drop my leg deeper and try to break me down. And that's all that happened. Our best play never came from long balls. And Bruno Fernandes, I mean, where do I start? where do I start? Sees another 90 minutes, and it's shocking. It's generally shocking. Got displaced off the ball a few times, lost the ball on long pass attempts so many times. And I'm not, you know what? I know you guys are probably going to expect me to crash out on the penalty. I'm not even that bothered about the penalty. I see Bruno, I believe, scored the most penalties since he joined the Premier League. Equally, he missed the most with 6. But that's fine. I've seen him score so many penalties that I'm not even like, yeah, eventually he was going to miss again. I can't even remember the last time he missed. That's not the biggest issue I have with Bruno. At no point did I see today or in last game, in the 2 games that we played so far, no one can tell me hand on heart, when you guys watch us play, do you spot Bruno Fernandes on the pitch and you think he's worth 100 million pounds? 100 million pounds worth of talent is much more than this. It's even that it's actually at a point that I'm not even mad at Bruno. Is the fact that this manager keeps shoehorning him there, knowing we all know Bruno's best output and attributes is goals, assists, chances created, set pieces. We know he's not fit for that role. The amount of times this guy steps out of his position again, individually presses instead of keeping the shape. There was an instance of the first half, if you guys remember, the first 15 minutes, he was pressing the goalkeeper. And I'm looking at him, I was like, how is my DM or my 8, whatever you guys want to call him, pressing beyond my striker? What is going on here? Where's the coaching? Where's the shape? Where's the discipline? And at some point, you stop blaming the person. You blame the enabler. And it's this manager. The first half, absolutely shocking. And in the second half, I honestly, listen, I didn't think much was going to change in the second half. I said, if anything, there's a better chance that we lose it. We did leave with a draw. But honestly, hand on heart, if you guys are watching the game, I think Fulham had a chance to win in the second half more than us. Yes, we did get the goal from Lenny Yoro from a set piece that ended up being an own goal. But other than that, can anyone remind me of any chances created in the second half? Can anyone remind me of any big chances? Any good shots being taken by our strikers? Our attackers are being coached in a team that the tactics don't even give us these chances to give them shots on target or good chances to be around the goal and just take shots in general. I don't remember Mbumo being close to the goal where he can take his signature shots, curlers, put them in the far post. I don't remember Cunha outside of the first half being given chances to do 1-2s and running behind or just shoot from outside. I don't remember that. Sesko came on, and listen, the 007 gimmick might run, and it's for jokes, but if we're being real, I think no real football mind is going to look at this game and say, oh my God, these attackers are horrible. No one is looking at that. I think we're looking at, where were the chances for Sesko? Can you name me one chance that this can created for him? I saw him trying to link up play, but I don't see the manager enabling him and putting creators around him where the ball is being put in the box where he can use his 6'5" frame, win a header, or get a tap in or anything. I didn't see any of that. Dorgo was struggling to get into the byline in the second half to try to put a cross in. Dallo, I don't even want to talk about Dallo no more. I think I've seen enough of Dallo. I was one of Dallo's biggest fans over the last few years. The lack of progression from this footballer, nothing in his game evolved over the last few years. Again, he receives the ball today, turns into a blind spot where he has no idea who's coming from behind him, loses the ball. Bruno's not tracking his runner, and Emil Smith-Rowe scores. It's the favoritism. It's his favorite players that are sinking him. And to make it all a lot worse, I mean, listen, forget that we actually brought on, what's his name, Maguire and Heaven in the last few minutes when we needed a goal. They came on, by the way, on the 88th minute, I think. We brought on 2 center backs when we needed a goal, which I said was desperate because we can't get our front line to fire, that we need Maguire to save us with a header. Guys, we needed goals. And we're taking off Ahmed, who I thought should have been on the pitch, and Mbumo should have been subbed up because he was horrible. But guys, deep this. We brought on, eventually, Ugarte to play in the pivot. But before that, when we made that sub, we played a double pivot of Bruno and Mount when we took off Casemiro because of that yellow. So just to revisit the timeline, we brought off Casemiro and Ahmad, brought on Dallo, and brought on Sesko, and we ran a double pivot of Bruno and Mount. And then about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, we took off Mount and we brought on Ugarte. Guys, I need you to deep this. In 2 games, we've seen Bruno, Casemiro, Mount, and Ugarte playing the pivot. Guess who didn't play in the pivot? Kobbie Mainoo. You're telling me that this team, as bad as it's been, Mainoo can't get minutes? Every time we need a goal, you're going for Ugarte subs, you're going for Maguire subs. You're not even bringing on Xerxes and he's on the bench and you need a 9 to score a goal. It's just, the ideology of this manager, I don't agree with it. He just needs too many things to be perfect, and it's just not worth it. I'll be honest with you guys. This team will thrive a lot better in a 4-3-3. To keep this shape and to keep this formation, and he'd never give up, by the way, a center back to bring on an attacker. He'll never do that. He'd rather bring off a center back, bring on Maguire to win headers, but he will never, ever, ever bring on an extra attacker and take off a midfielder. We are limiting some of our best players, Ahmad being switched to right wing, Kobe Mainu not even playing a single minute of Premier League football in 2 games. Just for me to watch 2 games of football, we are struggling to create any big chances, and we have 1 goal on a own goal. That's it. We have 0 goals that were scored by attackers. We're not even creating chances for them. I'm sorry, Ruben Amorim. I know how this is going to end. I unfortunately predicted it based on everything I saw in the summer, and it looks unfortunate that I'm right. Not that I wanted to be right. I was praying that I'm maybe being overly pessimistic, or I'm being negative or whatever. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of what we are. Ruben Amorim is out of his depth only on game week 2. We're not getting the best out of our players. We're not getting the best out of our attackers. All that for the sake of just keeping a formation that this manager can't coach with fluidity and variety. We played long balls against Arsenal, and then we played long balls today. You can't trust to bring on midfielders who can link up play and pass and move. It's always just, you know what? I need to have one destroyer. If it's not Casemiro, it has to be Ugarte. If I need a goal, I can't take off a center back, so I'd rather bring on Maguire. The manager's not a risk taker. He just needs everything to be perfect to the T. Doesn't make big decisions. His subs, in my opinion, are always wrong. Unfortunately, the writing is on the wall. And as I said, this is not even a Ruben Amorim. This is a Ruben Amorim video. This is like a Ruben, I'm embarrassed for you video. I as I said on my watch on, I have secondhand embarrassment for Amorim, because he did a lot of talk, and he said before the game, forget the context, we need to win. All that talk he did over the window of the summer window, and all that talk today, and he's already at his depth in game week 2, and it's looking really bad. It's looking really, really, really bad. And I'm expecting, unfortunately, as I said, another season of mid-table. I don't know where to go from here. You guys let me know. Would you sack him? Would you keep him? Is it too early? Are we overreacting? I honestly don't know. I just, all I know is I need a break from this. So we're at game week 2, and I just need to get my mind off this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet.